What is good, everybody? If you're new, please like, comment, subscribe, and turn that post notification bell. With that being said, let's get into the video. Today, we're going to be talking about the 10 things to avoid from getting played into self-pity. So, be like 10 plays and getting into self-pity. Well, Foster, what do you mean about getting played into self-pity? I be going into the things about getting played into self-pity with Bible verses and percentage. I may start with the percentage first, and then from there, I go into the examples about getting played into the self-pity with those percentages, and how can those percentages not only increase, but on top of that also, how can it play into your life to where you will live in self-pity? And me personally, I think the 20% is a lot. Please excuse the glare if you see a glare in the phone or when you're watching the video. I have a screen protector on, and the screen protector is cracked, which protects my phone. But anyway, that 20%, it basically, I feel like it's a big number compared in the US. Let's say it's like 80 million people or 80 billion people in the US, right? So we gonna say like 80 people. 20% of 80 people, it's like 16 people. So 80 billion, that's like 16 billion people who does that 20% of manipulation, which leads up to like 66 billion people who don't really use manipulation, but that 16 can, manipulate those into certain things, into where they want things to go their way. But anyway, yeah, so you didn't know that 20% of people uses manipulation tactics to get whatever it is that they need. 20%, that is a lot of people. But we're gonna go into that, and then I'm gonna explain into how those manipulation tactics is being used, and then on top of that, how it can lead to self-pity with deeper explanation. So, you're wondering, what does it mean to be played into self-pity? Like those manipulation tactics in regards to that. So I'm using my notes. This means that a person sees something in you to take advantage for themselves. The person who got played feels like it's their fault, but it was all on them the entire time. Meaning the person, playing the games. So, for example, a person sees you have something that they may need to escape from their problems, or they try to get something from you for their good. So that's just me going into more what I mean as to what does it mean to be played into self-pity. So let's say that you have a person that has a credit score of 740, and a person wants to buy a car, and that person that wants to buy a car has a credit score of 410. So in order to get that car, they have to have a certain rating. Let's say the certain rate is about 600 and the person is 410 and the other person has 720, which they can get that car, but they got the lives of themselves, they paying their bills on time, they doing all these things to try to keep their credit up, right? So with that person with the score of a 720 versus the 410, that person with a 410 go try to manipulate that person who has a 720, so that way they can get, their credit score, above a five something, 520 or 530, which most likely you're gonna need a little bit more. But I'm just throwing numbers out there, for example, right? So that person with a 410 need a 520. Okay, they do a whole little cosign thing, this and that, and try to get them a car with them. But they try to talk this person into, saying, oh, like, now I'm doing good or whatever, I'm trying to build my credit, this and that. And the person with the 720 knows for a fact that their credit is low, to the point, they know that person will not pay or have not been paying what they supposed to pay. So with that being said, you see that person and you be like, how would they be able to do that? And then that person gets manipulated. The one with the 720 get manipulated by the person with the 410 to sign over, or to do a cosign, I should say, excuse me. They should do a cosign to where they can get that car. And with that cosign, it's like they see that person with a higher standing. They're like, oh, okay, this person may do good because they see a person with a higher credit score that's going to help them raise their credit up. There's somebody with good and somebody that's bad. Doing bad and somebody that's doing good. Try to manipulate somebody that's doing good, for their benefit, to where they can get a better car or put themselves in a better situation, and not think about how that's going to affect that person's credit. And it's a lot of people in this world that has been, that may have been messed over with it, with the credit cosigns and different things like that. And suppose that this person didn't pay the credit, right? And so now, since you co-sign with them and, they miss payments or whatever, this and that, the credit score drops. And now, they just like, hey, like, you co-sign this person, your credit score drop because you co-sign this person, which you have them join or whatever, to what they got going. So that's just an example as to what I was saying about, what does it mean to be played in self-pity, meaning that you have something going on and that person is feeling bad themselves, and the person who's going through self-pity, who has the higher credit score, don't want to go in that credit, that low credit score again, and they have worked all them years to try to get themselves into that credit score. They've been tricked into it. So, now their credit score dropped, this and that, because that person with the lower credit score still doing the same thing, which is not paying their bills on time. And that person's credit is now messed up. It went from like 720, it could possibly drop down to like 650 or 635. So now it's gonna be harder for them to get their credit back up, because they co-sign with a person who not only has a bad credit history, but on top of that, they have not done anything to improve their credit to where they can get their own thing. See what I'm saying? But anyway, so why do they do it? It's not just because, it's not necessarily about getting what they want, but also they never had something valuable in the world, which, like I was saying, based on the example, they have not had something that's valuable in the world, and they want something that's valuable, but they can't necessarily get it. So they're going to go up to the person that has something good, to where they can get something or get that particular thing, because they have a higher score than them, or that's at a higher rank than them, to help them get up to wherever they need to be, to make it like, they have it, or make it like they'll do something, or make it like they'll make a change, or they'll make it like they'll do certain things. But you get the point. So, for example, a guy not only hates on another guy for success, for a skill, also they hate, or they take his life it takes their life due to their pitiful ways that halted them from being the same as him. So that, like I said, that person with the score, whatever, with the higher score, they try to bring that person down because they want it for themselves, and they can realize how well they can benefit from that person. You know what I'm saying? They try to benefit from that person, so that way they can make it like they can do this and that. But I mean, me personally, I wouldn't co-sign with anybody. But that's just me. But yeah, you get the picture. But note this: those who act like they know, but never win like they know, can fall into pity fast. The catch is that if you do it for a fear of rejection or to be noticed, then yes, pity will be on your shoulder when you fail test day. Meaning that if you're a person that act like they know what's going on, overall in life or whatever, and you try to act like this individual to where you know a lot or whatever, or you perceive that you know a lot, and when it come to test day meaning that the day that you're actually supposed to perform and you don't do it, the result shows. It's okay to not know and learn to know and practice what you preach in your daily life. It's okay to not know, man. It's a lot of times you're going to be in situations to where things are going to get tight and where things are going to get hard. But the things that's not okay is you act like you don't know and you pretend like you know. You fake it until you make it, until you get tested. Right? So you don't want to be that person to where you get put on the spotlight and all this stuff you act like you know, but you really don't know. So that's technically, a person that's manipulating, or a person that's doing something just for their own good. Right? So I have a Bible verse on that I would like to touch on. And it's on Proverbs chapter 26, verses 24 through 26. So 24 through 26 states that enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts to deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hills. Their malice, which I'm on the 26th verse, because I read 24 and 25 already. So on the 26th verse states that their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Meaning that all the things that they were doing they're currently doing, like currently playing games or whatever, this and that, it will all be exposed at the end as to why they do what they do. Which I'm going back on the credit stuff. They try to talk a person who has a high credit score into saying, hey, like, I want to co-sign with this, and I'll do all the payments and all of this. Which basically they could possibly using it to either show people that they got it, or that they had a good life, good payments, good income or whatever, but they're not necessarily responsible for their income. So they lower that person's credit score because of that reasoning. They're not good with their income, but they try to lead people with the things that they have materialistically into manipulating other people that, hey, I have it like that, which that's not the case. You got bills to pay up on. You got hospital bills to pay up on. You got things that you bought to pay up on. You may have a couch that you borrowed from another company that you have to pay up on. Anything. Anything that you borrow, you have to eventually give back. You can't manipulate something that's not only not yours, but also you cannot really manipulate people that you have something that you don't have, or play into something that you did not have credit in, right? So best way to avoid getting played is pay attention to what's given and upgrade your knowledge on how people or companies can ruin it upon you. Most likely people for the sake of this video. Upgrade your knowledge about the psychology of people, how people work, or specifically how that person, goes about life, or the way that companies work, insurance companies and, credit card companies, or, companies in which, they trying to sell you a business or something. It's important to understand these things so that way you won't be manipulated, and later you won't feel self-pitiful about it because of the things that they're telling you. It's not about what they're telling you. It's about the idea of you being ready upon what they go tell you, but you understanding the whole side effect behind what they're telling you. Let that sink in. Right? And they can say anything. They can say, they can lower this, lower that, or if you do deals, this and that, it's gonna be cheaper. But you gotta understand that they probably do that for promotion. And at the end of the day, you're gonna pay at a higher rate. Although they tell you, oh, there's a deal going on, that's a deal going on, or whatever. But however, if you had that knowledge, you already know, like, that ain't no deal going on. That's a deal for them, so that way they can make a sale in the way they can raise my bill. However, that's not a deal in your situation, or whatever case may be, because not only they want more money, but on top of that, I'm not able to understand what's going on, or I'm paying more than what I'm paying. And guess what? You don't have any money to pay it. Right? So you want to avoid these 10 behaviors from feeling like self-pity. Like, avoid these manipulating, behaviors to make it to where, like, oh, like, I have it this way, or I have it that way, or, these people say they go do this and that, and turn around back door, they don't have these things. It's not necessarily about money, but also they just see, like, you have a lot going for yourself. You have things going for yourself. They want to borrow something, or try to find a way to leech off of something, or try to find a way to do this and that. You don't want to fall into that category to where you are giving up your hard work, or giving up something that you just got out of, and now all of a sudden you being played or manipulated back into to where you in that same situation all over again. See what I'm saying? But although people say they know these things, but a lot of times when they are being put to the test, those things just go out the door. They just fly out. Right? They just fly out. And although you know what's going on, but you also have to not put yourself in certain scenarios, but plant certain scenarios in your head to where you're less likely to be manipulated. And so that way it'll keep you on your toes to where like, hey, like, you know, realistically, based on your credit history or whatever, or for the sake of my credit history, I'm not going to do certain things. Or for my reputation, I'm not going to do certain things to hurt my reputation as to where I'm at. Or for the sake of whether it's a friendship or, you know, going to a party or whatever. Like if you know a party is bad, you know, a lot of stuff going on, I'm not going to risk my reputation of going there, buy some fun, and then on top of that, suppose if something was to happen to me, what is that person going to do to help me get up out of the situation? They're not going to do anything. They are not going to do anything for you. That's what you have to realize in this world, fellas. Especially my men and my ladies. They're not going to be considerate of that. The reason why they're not going to be considerate of that is because they have a situation to where they're trying to get out of. Although they're trying to get out of that situation, chance of them helping you is going to be a low percentage to none. You hear me? You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be a low percentage to none. Right? So, one time, right, I remember I was staying in the hood of Houston, the number 3rd worst neighborhood. By the way, I stayed in Senecawood. So, I had a homie of mine that I went to school with, or whatever, right? And, you know, he was in and out of trouble, this, and that, right? And his mom had was like, you know, calling the police on him or whatever to get him about the situation, you know, to get herself about the situation because the son was cutting up, you know, which is my home, you know, my ex-homie. And he hit me up. He was like, hey, Mufasa, man, like, you know, my mom, she did this and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, she called the police on me because, you know, of X, Y, Z. You know, I'm not going to say, you know, what it was, but I was like, all right. So, you know, when did she call the police? She told my man, she called him, you know, just now or whatever. You know, I've been walking for the past like 5 to 8 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'll meet you halfway. Got off the phone, got dressed, met him halfway, right? It was like, all right, cool, what's up, this, and that. I'm like, hey, man, was everything good? He's like, yeah, it's such and such, right? So, it was, to me, it was a devastating situation because not only things can go left for him, but also it could have went left for me too. You know what I'm saying? But like I was going back on my last video, we was talking about being diligent and resilient. So I have to be diligent, meaning I have to be careful on the things that I was doing and taking certain risks. Although, in my area or whatever, on my, on my street or whatever, it's not as many cops, but overall, there's cops within the area or, anything like that. But they don't come to outside really, because it's mostly quiet on that side. It's nothing but older people at the time when I was going to school. So I was like, okay, cool. You can come, this, and that. I was being diligent because I thought about, hey, like, I didn't have cops at the time in that area or whatever. You can come over to, to my crib or whatever, right? So I walked him over, he was telling all what happened and all of that, how he was, in trouble, got into it or whatever, right? So, and it hurt me a lot because to me, I found it, a bit betrayal to where family has to call the cops on another family member. Which I said in my past video that my dad didn't love me or whatever. He said he didn't love me or whatever because of, my mom was putting him on child support and all that stuff like that, which kind of got to me or whatever. So I understood the situation, although it was two different scenarios, but still I can understand the situation that, like the person didn't have his dad in his life and his mom was just, in and out of drama or whatever the case may be. So I was trying to help him out, trying to, keep him in school, trying to get him to graduate, trying to get him to do the right things so that way we can both have a good life. But by the way, I turned out being, more successfully still just, in the bind. But, so I was manipulating to the situation to where I had to help him get up out of that bind that he was in from, making his life even worse to where he can get caught up easily in the system. Although, there was some things that happened, but turned out it was just to get away from that situation for his own good in that temporary time, rather than his long-term time. But anyway, that was just my little story on that, and so all these 10 behaviors, I should say, from feeling self-pitiful. Number 1, criticizing or dismissing your efforts. Number 2, comparing you to others. Number 3, offering unsolicited advice. Number 4, ignoring or overlooking your struggles. Number 5, guilt tripping, make you feel guilty for your emotions or actions. Number 6, expressing pity instead of empathy. Number 7, telling you how you should feel. Number 8, making you feel burdensome. Number 9, point out what you lack. Number 10, treat you different because of your struggles. I feel like with these 10 things, pretty much people try to use these things to where they try to make you feel bad, but at the same time, they deep down bad themselves. They try to put you down to where you can help them, so that way they can get up out of the bad situation to where they don't look as bad to them compared to you. So they'll bring you down while they trying to bring themselves up. right? It's a lot of that going on in the world. Big suggestion on that before I go into these top 10 things and me explaining them. If you are dealing with a person that is going through that or that's doing that, like, I suggest you getting away from them immediately and try to write down things that you know you like and that you like doing yourself and that you know dislike doing, to where you know it's hurting you as a person or it's hurting your success into being a better person. So that way you will never run into those mistakes again. Just keep you from being a better person, to where you can turn those things, those cons into pros, to where you can be a better, even more better individual. So that way you won't feel played or feel played into self-pity ever again. Going to these 10 things. So number 1, criticizing or dismissing your efforts. Constantly pointing out flaws or belittling your achievements can make you feel inadequate or unworthy. Meaning that if you're doing something good for yourself and people come in and be like, they underestimating what you're doing, like, that ain't nothing, or you know, that's just ego talk. That is criticizing or dismissing your efforts, because you have worked hard to where you have got up out of a situation, but because they were in a bad situation, they try to manipulate you so that way you will fall into their traps, and to either having them to do whatever it is that they do longer, or they trying to find a way to get up out of there, to make you where either you don't care about them anymore or have you changed views about them, which you don't need them people around you anyway. Right? Okay. Number 2, compare you to others. Compare you to more successful or better people, especially when you're struggling, can make you feel inferior. Like, it could be anybody they compare you to that they feel like, you know, that they're more successful than this and that, and you have put in an equal amount of work, but not necessarily the work to where, you know, the other person that's talking trash upon you perceive to the next person that, you know, that they see or they favor. If you worked hard just as the other person did, and then there's a person that don't have nothing, they try to compare you to other people, that person playing you. And you need to move the fuck away from them in all seriousness. Because what that's going to do is, that's going to make you question your sanity or question the things that you're doing, which manipulating you into thinking that, hey, like, I'm not good enough, which is adding stress, which is drama, which is quarreling, which I said in my supercharger video on my last video. If you have not checked that out, go check it out. You understand? Number 3, offering unsolicited advice. Giving advice when you haven't asked for it, especially if it's overly critical, can make you feel incapable of handling your own life. So they try to tell you what to do, how to move about in your own life. Tell me what you should do or what you shouldn't do or whatever. They trying to tell you all that. Man, let them people go, man. They ain't even, you know what I'm saying, thinking about you. They ain't even, you know, considering the fact that, you know, you handled your life so well, especially if you are doing well for yourself. Self-appreciation is more better than listen to a person who ain't got it. Simple as that. Number 4, ignoring or overlooking your struggles. When people ask if your problems aren't valid or important. Man. Don't listen to those people. You got a problem or whatever, they try to overlook it, this, and that, and saying that, your problems ain't nothing or whatever. Leave them alone. They ain't gonna help you. Number 5, guilt tripping. Make you feel guilty for your emotions or actions, saying things like, I told you so, or you should have known better. Don't let these people guilt trip you, man. They either don't have experience or they did have experience. It's like they see that you experiencing something that they don't understand. If it's make you to the point where you feel bad, leave them alone. Number 6, expressing pity instead of empathy. When people express pity instead of understanding, it can make you feel like a victim or helpless. Hey, people don't understand you. They don't understand the situation. If they make you feel like the victim or make you feel like, you helpless in a situation or whatever, it's just manipulation. They ain't got nothing going for themselves. They ain't trying to hear your problems. They try to shame you so that way they can make you feel bad, so that way they ain't got to give no advice on nothing because they ain't got no experience. Number 7, telling you how you should feel. Telling what you should be having or minimizing what you're going through can invalidate your experiences. No person should be telling you how you should feel. You should feel how you should feel. Let them go. Cut them off. Cut them haters off. Like that Kid Camp said. Number 8, making you feel burdensome. When people make you feel like a burden by constantly complaining about helping you or acting inconvenienced, it could feel self-pity. Meaning that, hey, you call a person and you try to get some advice or get some or whatever that you need or whatever, they're not there to help you. They're inconvenient, meaning that they don't answer the phone or they not there when they do something. But however, when they need something and your mind is gone off of it, by the time your mind gone off of it, they go calling you for something. They're playing games. They're manipulating you into self-pity. Let them people go. You don't need that around you, man. That's why I do these Bible verses, man, to kind of show you or kind of tell you what's really going on in the world through the Bible and what people are currently facing today and how it's affecting people from growing. Number 9, pointing out what you lack. Emphasizing what you don't have, whether it's success, looks, ownership, etc., leads to thinking of the have-nots. Meaning that if you got a person that's saying that, hey, you don't have this, guess what? It's going to make people like, I don't have this. I don't have that. What can I do to get this? Or how can I get that? And you already blessed, guess what? The other person you telling to ain't blessed. Let them go. Because they don't have nothing. They don't have the same ambition as you have. They don't have the same thoughts and dreams that you have. But yet they want to belittle some sort of dream or some sort of thing that you have, fellas, and even my ladies, especially my men, because there are a lot of guys that they hang with that don't have nothing. Number 10, they treat you different because of your struggles. Being overly sympathetic or treating you like you are fragile or less capable due to your challenges can reinforce feelings of self-pity. They understand what you're going through. They be like, hey, you know, you struggle your whole life, this, and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, although you've been in a struggle, how the hell can you go somewhere else and think you finna survive? Those people like that, you gotta let them go. And I even had, you know, a family member like that. You know, I was living in Texas, and I was like, hey, you know, one day I wanna go move on the West Coast. Oh man, it's too expensive. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to do that. You ain't gonna be able to do that because it's so expensive. Why the hell does it matter what I'm doing and you can't do it? Why you gonna project your negative thoughts onto me? Come on, man. I gotta use y'all head when y'all dealing with these people, man. You know, these people trying to manipulate y'all out of something that God has given you or portrayed onto you, you know? I mean, hey, I'm welcome to do consultation calls or whatever, you know, try to help men with character development. Like I said, you know, being able to sit down and reevaluate their problems or whatever. But once again, I've never been married, but however, I want to help men character develop themselves to where, you know, they can potentially lead up to that point to where they can get married. It's all within themselves. You gotta love yourself first in order for you to love somebody else. Love is created within you, not given to the other person. So if you forget anything that I said, people who are the most manipulative don't have love within themselves. So they try to take away things from other people that have love within themselves to be able to live a better life or be able to do things for themselves, to where they try to take away things from people that have those values that the manipulative people don't have, which will lead you to self-pity. Man, I'm out of here, man. That's all my notes for today. So if you're new and if you like this video, tell me in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn the post notification bell. With that being said, your boy Mufasa is out of here. Bye.